Today I'm testing the new DDM Tuning Saber LED ProX 55W Accu V2 headlight. How does it compare to the previously tested V1? We're going to find out. Hey everybody, Jason here and welcome back to my garage. Today we're going to review another LED light, the DDM Tuning Saber Pro 55W Accu V2. Quite the mouthful and quite the light according to the specs. We're going to find out how it performs. Now before I jump into it, I do have a very important announcement to make. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I love doing LED lighting and reviews just like this one in this video right here. Well, this is going to be the last one I do on this channel, and that's actually a good thing because I created an all new channel dedicated to universal LED lighting tests just like this one. It's over at carlightreviews.com, so be sure to head over there, subscribe, and stay tuned because the next video that I do, like this one, is going to be over there. And I've got a lot more videos coming after that. So if you like this sort of thing, you're definitely going to want to head over there and stay tuned. And if you like the Corvette stuff and the Colorado stuff, the vehicle-specific stuff that I like to do, well, I'll be doing that right here on this channel in Jason's Garage. All right, now that I've said that got that out of the way, let's talk about the DDM Tuning Saber Pro 55W Accu V2. Now, like my other forward lighting reviews, I'm going to do an introduction, unboxing, go over the published specs, cover some of the features, and then test the brightness and light pattern using the following: an H11 headlight projector testing rig that I made, a 2018 Ford F-150 reflector headlight. I use this specifically because the Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in America, and 2018 had the highest production number in the past 15 years. A benchtop power supply, and a basic lux meter mounted on my garage wall 20 feet away from where the projector or reflector is that I'll position the LED hotspot on. I measure initial brightness and then again after 27 minutes to see how the heat impacts the light output over time. I use 27 minutes because that's the average commute time in the United States. My tests aren't for lux number accuracy, but for comparison to a stock H11, which measures 550 projected lux and 910 reflected lux when performing the same test that I will on the light featured in this video. And if you want to do the same tests of your own, I put a complete list of the equipment I use in the description. And as always, before I forget started, remember to check the aim of your headlights at least once a year and always aim them after replacing the bulbs. If you install an LED and the cutoff is bad or you can't line them up accurately, the light output is scattering way too much and it's not safe to use, so try a different style of LED or one with a lower output that'll be more compatible with your light housing. See my other videos on this channel for more reviews, and in the future, of course, head over to carlightreviews.com. This video here is for informational purposes for using LED lights legally, so when I say headlights, I'm referring to legal off-road use or fog light use only, as replacing factory halogen bulbs with LEDs for headlights in the US is not currently legal nor DOT approved. Having said all that, I'm really excited to bring this to you. This is one that you guys have been wanting a lot ever since I made my previous video from DDM Tuning, putting the Saber ProX 55W, which we're going to call the V1 from now on, because this is the V2, up against the Saber Pro 50W. And that was a pretty good comparison video. But since then, obviously, DDM has come out with the Saber Pro V2, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into the unboxing and details. User manual. Comes with a screwdriver, some zip ties, and if you could see them in there, there's some set screws in there. Some O-rings. Okay, let's get into the published specs. 55 watts and 6,250 lumens each, with a color temperature of 6,000K. It's also available in 4,500K and 3,000K. It uses a custom chip, has an adjustable ring, and that's what that screwdriver was for, and those extra set screws right there and right there is how you can adjust the collar if you need to. Adding the screwdriver was a pretty nice touch, and of course the extra set screws, because those things are pretty tiny and could probably get lost pretty easy if you're not careful. It is fan cooled and does have this external driver. The driver is pretty sharp looking with a DDM logo embossed in it. Overall, it feels built very, very solidly. It's not stamped metal. It looks like it's cast or machined. I do like the flat cable that it's got. I always like a flat cable. They're just easier to work with from my opinion. It does have a polarity sensitive plug and an IP rating of IP68 with a lifespan of 50,000 hours. It is backed by DDM Tuning's 2-year warranty. Now let's talk about price on this thing. It's retails normally for around $189, $190, but I've seen it priced right around $150 at the time of this video. So we can say $189 without any coupons or discounts. So here's my observations of this. First of all, this thing just looks like a weapon. I mean, it's a serious looking light, and you know, if you like that sort of thing, if you're interested in that sort of thing, it's pretty cool looking. I do wish that it did have a grill on the back. I always like it when there's a grill on the back because that prevents it from getting damaged when people accidentally like to push on the back of it when they're inserting it. So just make sure you don't. This heat sink is really well designed. It's very tough, and it does protect the fan a little bit with these tines, these pieces that stick out there a little bit. That's pretty cool. Overall, it appears to have very good build quality and materials, just what you would expect from DDM for a premium headlight. So it's supposed to have an improved beam pattern, and we're going to find out if it's true because it does have a thin 1 millimeter post gap inside there. And that core is 1 millimeter, and that's where the chip's set on. So that's pretty thin, and that's going to line the LED chips up to the similar position of the original halogen filament. So all the numbers on this really leads up to big improvements over the Saber Pro 55W, aka the V1. Well, let's find out. The initial projector light output is a very impressive 1,211 lux from 20 feet using my testing rig. Now, if you want to compare that to the V1, that was 974 lux, so it is definitely much brighter. In fact, let's talk about brightness above stock. This V2 is 661 lux above stock being 550. So yes, you can definitely say that the V2 is over twice as bright as the factory halogen bulb. Now, after 27 minutes of runtime, it still retains a good portion of that light at 1022 lux. That's 84.4% retained. And again, by comparing to the V1, they actually had the same amount of brightness retained after 27 minutes at 84%. So far, it is definitely an improvement over the V1 that was already impressive. Let's take a look at the reflector. As you might expect, the reflector light output is also impressive, 3,940 lux. Comparing to the V1, that was an even 3,600 lux, so definitely also brighter in the reflector. That is also 3,030 lux above stock reflector being 910. And after 27 minutes retaining that 84.4% brightness, 3,325 lux. Let's talk about temperature. The original V1 ran at 120 degrees Fahrenheit after 27 minutes. I tested the V2 at 114 degrees Fahrenheit after 27 minutes, so it definitely runs a little cooler. The max driver temperature was also 129 degrees. I measured that as well. So let's just call it as it is. This is definitely an improvement above the already impressive V1. This is a very impressive light. Okay, here's my thoughts on the DDM Tuning Saber Pro 55W Accu V2. DDM continues to roll out great products, and needless to say, I'm pretty impressed with this one. I think it's among the best premium LED lights I've tested so far. The quality meets expectations for a premium light, the light output is very, very bright, and overall, it just does a great job, and as a reminder, you can get them in more than one color, which is not always common. How does it compare to my previously tested DDM Saber ProX 55W version 1? Well, the version 1 already has great light output and a good reflector cutoff. Now this version 2 builds on that and takes it a step further. Still great quality materials, but it's over 20% brighter, yet retains the exact same brightness percentage after my 27-minute test, and it runs 5 degrees cooler. So is the version 2 reflector cutoff better than the version 1? Now I myself, I didn't see much of an improvement in my test results, but your test results might be different based on your application. But I will say this, it's definitely not a step back in the cutoff department. And let's talk about that brightness just a little bit more. When it comes to lights this bright, I do encourage everyone to always be accurate when aiming your headlights. Because as I mentioned, if you find you can't aim them or you've got scattering issues, the light is just too bright for the design of your housing. Now a good solution is to go with something less bright, like the version 1 that I mentioned a few times in this video, or even the Saber Pro 50W that I tested against the version 1. Check out that video and you'll see they're both great performers. And the nice part is, at the time of me releasing this video that you're watching right now, you can still get the 55 watt version 1 and the Pro 50 watt version at a reduced price. So if you need one for your application, get them while you can. And speaking of that Pro 50 watt, DDM has recently released a version 2 of that light as well. And I've got one on the way to me. So if you'd like to see the details of that, plus a whole lot more tests like the one you're watching right now, you know where to go and subscribe, carlightreviews.com. Back to this version 2, the only downside to this light that I can find is that the fan is a bit loud, but unless that really bothers you, it's a non-issue. So the bottom line, DDM Tuning continues to make really good stuff, and the Saber ProX 55W Accu V2 is a true winner. You can get it directly at ddmtuning.com, as well as Amazon and other dealers. I'll put links in the description below. As always, thanks for watching my video. I hope it helps you to find the right lighting upgrades for your needs. And if you got a suggestion on what I should test in the future at carlightreviews.com, please leave a comment and I will check into it. Subscribe and share appropriately, drive safely, responsibly, and respectfully. Thanks for watching.